go down and click on mirror my own video.
No,
It doesn't matter.
it's forward on our screen.
But it's backwards on mine? That's really fucking
Yeah.
weird.
Well, your video is backwards.
Welcome, Moose
I got
family.
you. I got it.
Okay, so I think we're on, boys. Welcome, Moose family, to another edition of the MHL Moose Video Live Show here. I got my co-hosts, Fallen Warrior, you got Typhoon, you got Speary, and you got the lovely Toke there. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good.
Going awesome.
How you doing, Toke?
I don't think he's loaded in yet.
It shows
Yeah,
There he
Toke.
is. I was there for a second.
Yeah, I think we might have lost him. Yeah, he left the group chat, and we lost Typhoon as well. But whatever. Me and Fallen
that.
Speary from the radio. I guess the old original Moose media members got to stick together. Looking like those new guys got to back out here. But today, Moose family, we're going to be talking about the post-draft rankings. Maybe you saw it on the forums for the AHL. But basically, we're going to go over each team, forwards, defense, goalie, and see their strengths, weaknesses, and things to maybe exploit or things maybe they might have to do for trade talks or picking up from ninth-round waivers. So, I don't know. Do you guys have anything to say before we start this off? Or?
No, let's get right into it.
Yeah, you ready?
Anything you guys say, Spirit, about your team that you like?
Oh, there's nothing negative to say, so I'm going to say I like pretty much everything about it, for the most part. No problems.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, we got the first team up that we're just going to kick right into it. Is Strudel's team. He had the first overall pick, and we all saw that he took Patalite. And rumor has it he's not even playing goalie this season. He's playing defense.
Yeah, I'm playing goalie. I'm the starting goalie for that team.
Okay, that's
Okay, so so that this roster is Patalite, She Wants Dydik, Blue Steel X21, Boo Bear 91, Typhoon here, Easy, Lockdown 29, and Ben X14, who's the last pick this draft for this season. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with the forwards, and I'm pretty sure forwards on this team will be She Wants Dydik, Ben, Strudel's a forward, and that's most likely the starting forward line. So what do you think about this lineup so far? So let's start off with you, Speary.
I don't know. It's pretty good. In my opinion, there's two different types of teams right now this season. There's teams that have picked up a lot of waiver-type players or rookies that we don't necessarily know, and I can't really make any judgment on those teams whatsoever because we don't know them. And then there's players there's teams who are totally stacked with veterans. Like my team would be one of those teams that's totally stacked with veterans. And I can offer an opinion on those a lot more than I can on the teams that don't really have veteran players. It's very difficult to say. This is one of those teams again where it's going to be very difficult to say because they're stacked with players that I either don't know or are not veterans. We know Dark Typhoon is a decent player, so I mean that he's not on the front line, I don't think, but I don't know. It's all going to come down to how well they can work chemistry together and get practicing before the season. Because if they're not moving the puck as well as say like a veteran team who played together before then they're going to get totally smashed.
Yeah, what do you think about this, Typhoon? I think Spear brings up some good points. The lack of an experience there.
Yeah, well, what a lot of people don't know is they do play together on a site, the SHL. So they're a group of guys that plays well. They play club together, so they got their experience right there. But this is a completely different league than what the SHL is. So they are in for an eye opener, pretty much. So that's all I can really say because I don't want to put the team down because I mean I don't know them that well. I just play against them. But I'm looking forward to play. Maybe we can do something. Maybe I got some help in the back. I don't know yet. Time will tell.
Oh, and Patalite on D, I think, is very interesting. I was on his team last season. He was net, and he was really good. I have no idea how he plays on the ice. It could be a good thing he's on D. It could be a bad thing he's on D. I have no idea how that'll pan out for them.
Yeah, what I'm understanding. is the reason why he got one first overall is because Strudel's his brother.
His brother. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm understanding. I mean, if that is, I mean, good. I mean, hey, that's cool. You want to draft your brother, but sometimes, I mean, it's not the right choice, you know. And we've seen
He
that
could have
how many
waited
times. Yeah, he
another
could have
round.
waited. I mean, I don't know how many times we've seen best friends and brothers always get drafted with each other, and next thing you know, things don't work out.
What's wrong with brothers drafting each other? Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, you're going to be sent down quick, so don't even worry. But we're welcoming you back here, so it's don't worry, time will tell.
Couple of people on
Yeah.
my team are my friends, but I waited until like the third, fifth round to draft them, seventh round to
Yeah,
draft them. So
okay.
I mean,
Okay, sure
I
you
did.
disagree.
I did. Toxic. Toom,
Okay.
Youngster, Mark. Toom was third round. Mark was seventh round. Youngster was no, or Mark was fifth round, and
Wait.
Youngster was
You're
seventh
actually
round.
friends with Tomb? Oh.
Yeah, like
Oh.
many other people, unlike you, because you're an ass. But I mean
I'm an
that's
ass.
besides the point.
Oh, don't even get me started on that
You
kid.
bring personal things up on the radio all the time, dude. Just calm down. This wasn't the point of the conversation. I drafted friends, but I drafted friends late when I knew they were still going to be there. First round, I picked up Toke and Piggy, people who I wouldn't say they're good friends. They're cool people. I've talked with them before, but I picked them up because they're value as players, not because they're my brothers, not because they're my friends. I waited until much later for that because I knew my friends were going to be there because their value wasn't as high. I understand drafting Tyler like because he's your brother, and he's a valuable goalie. But first round that was a booger in my opinion. He would have been there in the second round, maybe even the third round. Definitely could have waited for that.
Totally agree. Moving on from the forwards, let's talk about defense. Right now, they got Blue Steel and Lockdown 29. Looks like they're going to be their starting two D-man. And from what I've seen, Blue Steel coming back from 15's team last season. Great D-man coming back. I think it was his second season. He was C's. That was his gamer tag last season. Lockdown's a rookie. So, again, the lack of inexperience in the Moose is, I think, going to show evident here. But I think they can be a lockdown pair, but it's going to take a lot of time to work together and find out their chemistry.
What I'm
What do you guys
understanding,
think?
Lockdown's probably going to be like a backup player because Padley, he's the starting D. He's one of the starting D defensemen.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting that he's playing D. That's so weird. I'm so used to him being goalie and standing
Yeah,
on his head.
when I
Yeah, now
got
all of a sudden
drafted, and I was like,
it's-
wait a minute, am I playing forward? Am I playing goalie? Because I knew Padley plays net. So it took me a while when I got a hold of Strudel. He confirmed that I am starting D and he's starting defenseman.
Well, is Paddleite starting D because again he's Strudel's brother, or is he starting D because he's better than both of those D men? I think that's a question that needs to be asked, and something we're going to find out pretty quickly when the season starts.
What about you, Paul? What do you think about those two D-man, Padalite and Blue Steel?
Taxis Mike is up.
Honestly,
Oh, there he is.
I don't know much about their defense. I have never played with this Blue Steel. I never played with this Blue Steel guy. Who's your other defenseman you guys said?
Padley.
Paddleit, I've only played with him as goalie, and that was for like 1 or 2 games. So
Yeah.
there's honestly not much I can say about Strudel's team.
Okay, and last but not least, let's move on to the goalie, and it's our fellow co-host here, Dark Typhoon. What do you guys think about that one?
I think Typhoon's a pretty solid goalie for the most part. Definitely going to be a pretty good player for them. Not the best goalie, but he is pretty good. It's all going to come down to the D pair in front of him, because if the difference between taking 7 shots and 32 shots is really going to determine how well your goalie does. Even if you have a top goalie, if he's facing 32, 40 shots a game, he's going to get screwed over and your team's going to lose. If you're facing 7 shots a game, you could have like a C-rated goalie, like not even that good, someone who plays center normally, and you're probably still going to win because you're only taking 7 shots. So it's Typhoon again, great goalie, but we'll really have to see how well the defensive pair in front of him has to affect that. I imagine, Typhoon, you probably have an opinion on that. Can you tell us how strongly you feel about that?
Let's just put it this way. I'm going to be very verbal. If they're leaving guys open sitting in front of me, I'm going to be screaming. So they're going to I'm going to make sure they're playing their positions and shutting down those cross creases because, top goalies, any goalie can tell you, doesn't matter if 7 shots, 37 shots, you get numerous of cross creases. You can't stop them all because I
Exactly.
mean it's cross creases are one of the hardest things to stop. I mean because the way this game is, they still have not made it goalie friendly for people who plays goalie. You're not moving off the post fast enough like you should be. So I mean, still it's hard, but as long as I got the D covering my sides, I should be straight.
Okay, and last question about this team. Playoff team. It's simple, yes or no question. Start
No,
with you, Fallon.
no. I think these guys will finish bottom of the barrel. Um, again, it's not because I don't know many of these guys. It's because Strudel's not a bad forward, but he's not also the greatest forward. Padelate, again, I've only seen him play goaltending. I've never seen him play defense, so I don't know what he's going to bring to the table. And as Typhoon said, depends on how the defense plays. If they're leaving guys in front, then you're not going to be able to win games like that and make the playoffs.
Typhoon. Yes, no.
You know what? I'm just going to stay away from that question because I mean, I don't want to be biased because it's my team. So I mean, I just put it this way: if we don't, we don't. All right, better luck next season. If we do, outstanding.
Theory.
I gotta agree a little bit with Toxic on this. I mean, it does all come down to Strudel's decisions on how he drafted his players and who he drafted. But I mean, it could go either way. If the choices he made were good choices, then they could make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be one of the top teams, but they could definitely make it there. And if his choices were bad choices, and we'll see how much chemistry they actually have and how they can compete with the other teams, then you know, they might not make it at all. You know, if they're terrible, it all comes down to Strudel's decision. And we're going to find out pretty quickly whether it was good decisions or bad decisions. Either way, though, it all lies with Strudel, and that's just something we're going to have to find out.
Yeah, I gotta agree with both you, Fallon and Spirit. They're not a playoff team. I think Typhoon has more experience than the whole team put together, so that speaks louder for itself right there. So that is my reason for not Strudel making the playoffs right there. Okay, moving on to the next team here. We got Joker and Toker, and that team is Fog Devil, Mason, JB, Deep Violator 420, ACDC, Rocky, Fat Ass, and Crazy Eyes. Okay, let's start with the forwards here. We got Fog Devil, Fat Ass, I do think, and either Deep Violator. I'm not sure who the other one would be, but for sure Fat Ass and Fog Devil.
Can we actually make an announcement on since we're talking about that captain right now and one of those players?
Yes, we can, and it's probably the biggest player on that team.
Mason, a.k.a. my mom beats me. She beats me too, and I love it. Blue Liner makes a trade, gives Joker Donster, and Blue Liner gets Mason. That is the trade, so... And I also forgot Joker and Toker picks up GSG Old Crow. So those are his two new teammates.
Who did you pick up the second one?
The GSG Old Crow. I think that's what it's saying.
Yeah. Wow.
Whoever that is.
If anyone that's watching, please, if you know who he is, please say something in the chat box about him so we know.
Yeah, so what do you guys think about their forwards? Fat Ass, Fog Devil, and ACDC or Deep Violator, whoever's going to get thrown in the mix with them. What do you guys think about those forwards?
To me, the best forward on the team is Fog Devil. I think that's. But if you if the lineup is Fog Devil, ACDC, and Fat Ass, it wouldn't be a bad lineup, but it wouldn't be a good lineup either. They're gonna be looking at Fog Devil to carry the forwards. I know Fat Ass is a veteran in the league, but on the past couple seasons, I've seen him do nothing. So we have to see what he brings to the table, along with ACDC. They have to both step up their games and start producing offense.
Typhoon?
Yeah, I would have to say Fog Devil. I play with him a lot in club with a bunch of my other buddies. Very solid forward. And then he has backup with these other two. So I mean, that line can be dangerous if they can get the right chemistry.
There,
Well, that's absolutely right. But I mean, my team actually scrimmed them last night, and I have some kind of experience with how they're playing and what kind of chemistry they have, and they're definitely a good team. And Fog Devil is a lethal forward line, and obviously Redline is a pretty good D. Led led the Moose in hits by a gigantic amount last season,
No, 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 no,
in the
no,
hundreds.
nope, nope, nope. That was me. That was me. I led it last season. I beat JB by like 10 hits or something like that.
Pretty sure JB had like
Nope.
187 hits, and
No,
you were
I
at like
had
97
200.
or
I
something.
had 200. We were both in the 200s. Look it
I
up.
don't know about that.
Look it up.
I don't know about that.
I am bringing up
I
the
don't know
stat
about
page
that.
right now.
Please do. But I kind of feel like everyone else on the team. I mean, they're both Redliner's great, and obviously Fog Devil's a lethal forward. But everyone else on that team, I don't think really put up as much as those two do. So when it comes to forward lines, I think Fog Devil's kind of by himself there. Don't get me wrong, Fat Ass is also a pretty good player. If he's on their forward line, could happen. But I kind of think if teams focus Fog Devil, which is what we did last night, they're going to have issues getting up there. Especially JB felt like he was the only one on D, so they couldn't get the puck out of their zone for a lot of the game, unfortunately, and I think it kind of messed with their chemistry. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, Fog Devil's definitely lethal forward, but I think he is their best weapon, and if you shut that down, then their forward line pretty much goes away, and that's going to be very difficult for them. They gotta try and work out some plays or some chemistry to try and get some more going. Feeding Fog Devil is a good plan until they shut it down. It's not going to work the
All
entire
right,
season.
you ready there, Spirit? Here it is. CC Human Typhoon, 241. Second place, Funny Honey, 236. Third, Chaos Samurai with 99. I'm going to show you the picture.
Okay, who cares about last season? Let's talk about this season.
Hey, that's my one stat. That's my one stat I wanted. Don't take that
okay,
from me.
so defense, like we mentioned before, is JB and Joker and Toker the captain. So my personal opinion is that JB is a good D-man, Joker and Toker is a good D-man, but they don't mesh. They don't mesh at all. JB is a hit-first kind of guy. I think so is Joker and Toker, and that two mix, that's a lot of 2-on-1s or 2-on-0s for the goalie. And since they got rid of Mason, I don't know who's going to fill that shoe. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Donsters, so I don't see good things for this team.
Donster was in net for them last night when we scrimmed them. Donster, he was a pretty solid G-man. I think he's better than Mason, to be honest. He sat there. We had so many shots on net, and he didn't really let in that many goals. He's pretty solid. I do agree that they don't match well on D, though, those two. Especially, I mean, Redliner's a great D. Don't get me wrong, but he does have a tendency to get frustrated if his team goes down by a goal or two. If he misses a hit or loses a fight or something, he'll get very frustrated, start going for hits every single play, and it makes it a little easy for some people, who know what to do and deke fast and know the different moves to get around him consistently on plays. So Redliner getting frustrated is definitely a big negative on the ice for them, if they don't do well. And I think that could also be a big factor for them on the defensive end there. Normally he's a great player, but I think that could be a big negative for them.
Exactly. What about you, Typhoon? What do you think about this deep pairing?
I have to agree with Spirit. I mean, they're both good D-men, but yeah, JB, when he gets in that mode, there's nothing stopping him. He has that tunnel vision. Every time he gets mad, he just starts going for the hits, making bad plays, making bad turnovers in front of the goalie. So I mean, if they can get the chemistry going early, and he can calm himself down when they get in bad situation, maybe. But it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Exactly. And last but not least, we talked about the trade earlier between the goaltending. So now we're rating Donster instead of Mason. So what do you guys think about this Donster? He's a rookie this season, but how do you think he's going to do this season?
To be honest, I haven't seen much of him at all, so I can't really say yes, no, he's bad, he's good, because I haven't heard about him, haven't seen him in the scouting rooms at all. So I'm interested to see what he can do.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
goes for me. I haven't heard him. I haven't heard of his name that much, so I can't really say much about him either.
Yeah, he's definitely something no one. Like I said, I played him, so I know a little bit. He does sit in the butterfly a lot and stay back in the net. So he plays a lot of accuracy. You start lifting pucks over him, and he might get scored on more than he thinks. So we didn't really have much of a strategy going up against him because we have no idea how he played last night. And he is a really solid goalie for the most part. He's pretty much always in position. He doesn't freak out and go from like one side of the net to the other and move out of the way, breakaways or nothing. He's very solid in his positioning and he knows where he's at. And he's a very solid goalie. Solid every game we played them too. I think Mason can be kind of streaky sometimes really good, and sometimes he gets fucked. But Donster 100% was amazing in net, very solid, and definitely a keeper goalie. I'll tell you that right now. He's definitely someone we're going to be looking at the end of the season saying he needs to be drafted high next season. He's very good in net.
So playoff team?
I would probably give him bottom seed in the playoff.
What about you, Fury?
I totally agree with that. I can see them being a lower seed, somewhere between 6 to 8. It all comes down to chemistry is going to change everything on the ice this season. So, I mean, I can't be certain how they're going to match up against the teams we can't predict. But I can definitely see them getting a bottom seed based on Fog Devil and Redliner. Redliner plays solid, and they managed to help out Fog Devil a bit. I could see them being there.
Vaughn?
Yeah, I'm gonna say bottom seed. I'm gonna say at least 7th or 8th. They're just gonna squeak into a playoff spot. But it depends on how their defense plays. If their defense can play tight D and not go for the hits, I think these guys could be mid of the barrel. But that's if their defense can play real D.
I think they're going to squeak out of the playoffs, like 9th, 10th place. I think the loss of Mason, their best goalie, best player on that team, getting traded is going to be a big loss for them. And obviously Joker and Mason had it out for each other, so that's why he got moved. But a lot of credit to Donster, too. I think he's going to have a big season as a rookie, something to look out for next season. But I don't want to see this team making the playoffs with the players that they have. Okay, moving on. The next team that we have here is Vinmang's team. They got Joe Stowe, Funny Hundy, Crazy Bad, Mikey Fish, D. Mitch, Wolf Tears, Armageddon, and Zelo. Okay, so let's start with the forwards here. Joe Stowe is going to be a forward, Funny Hundy, and Vinmang?
The forwards, I think, I was talking to Vidman the other day. The forwards, I think he said, would be Joe Stowe, Funny Hundy, Crazy Bad, and Vinmang. I think. Okay. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I heard Crazy Bad was playing D, but it's all good. What do you guys think about these forwards? I think we got a better group here. And
well, Funny Hundy, I have to say, is a lethal center. Extremely lethal, as to be expected. He's played in MHL before, and he knows what he's doing. I also had the opportunity to scrim them, and I can't honestly say who's going to be in what position exactly because we played like 6 games against them for just for the hell of it, and every single game they changed up their forward line and their defensive line. So we were not sure what they were doing. I have no idea what they're doing now. Funny Hundy was the only person who stayed in one position as a center, and he dominated as a center all those games. He did really good. This team has a lot of potential, depending on what they set their lineup as and how they work for chemistry. Quite clearly, a lot of them can play different positions, and they're available for different things. So they have a lot of depth in this. They can swap out people in every position for someone else. It's a little ridiculous. So I can't say for certain what they're going to do. Coming from any forward line they have, though, I think is going to be pretty lethal because having Funny Honey as a center, boss.
Vaughn, what about you?
No, I'm gonna give it to Vin Mang. I think he drafted a pretty decent team this season compared to the last time he captained. He has people that won the cup so many times on his team. For example, Zelo. He has Joe Stowe. He has Crazy Bad, Mikey Fish. Those guys have won multiple cups, so he's got the talent there. It just depends on how he uses it. But like Spiritus says, picking up Funny Hundy for center, that was just a great pick. I was on his team last season. He was such a great playmaker center. He knows what to do on the faceoffs. He's just a great guy to play around and
Lethal crosses.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Funny Honey, I don't know if you guys were catching this when I crashed, but he's a very aggressive forward checker. I mean, look what he what 5 hits below me last season. Very aggressive. He can have the line to back him up when he's forcing those turnovers in their zone. Then they're going to have an amazing line because he can force them over like it's stealing candy from a kid.
I definitely agree with that. With the forwards, the Funny Hundy, Joe Stowe, and you said it, Crazy Bad. I haven't seen Crazy Bad play in 13, but I heard he's fell off a little bit. But like I said, one of the top centers, a top winger, Joe Stowe. I think that's going to be a deadly line. I think he definitely picked a better forward line than he did last time, and I think it's going to push him get some goals this season. Now moving on to defense, it looking like they got Mikey Fish and D. Mitch will be their starters on defense. So what do you guys think about that D pairing? Pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, what is there to say about them? I mean, they're just a solid pair. I mean, that's all you can really say. I mean, you can't say anything bad about them.
Yeah, Spear, what do you got to say about these two guys?
It's pretty much accurate. I mean, Dimitri is a great scoring defensive man. And he also plays really good D. To start with, anyway. So he can make a pretty good impact on their team, especially with Funny Hundy being a great playmaker center. He does give it back to them on point, and D. Mitch on point can score goals. Mikey Fish is also a pretty solid D. Good pairing with D. Mitch because he's very defensive. He likes to stay back, and you're not going to get behind him. You're not going to get breakaways against him, and he's really strong there. So they do have really good D, which I think with a combination of Funny Hundy will carry them pretty easily into a lower playoff spot, depending on how well they work out chemistry. I could see them even being one of the top playoff spots. I can't, again, I'm not certain if it's going to be D-Mitch and Mikey Fish. D-Mitch was there when we scrimmed him, and he was on lefty for a lot of the game. But I think we saw Mikey Fish play once. So they could have someone else on D with D-Mitch. Obviously, Mikey Fish would be the obvious choice there, but it might not necessarily be so. And we'll have to see what lineup they actually come up with when the season actually starts.
Yeah, I think that's a good pairing. D-Mitch pinching, and mixed with Mikey Fish, the defensive D-man. I think that's going to be a good mesh. Maybe if D-Mitch is pinching, and you got maybe some backups. Funny Hundy's a great defensive center as well. He can forecheck, can play defense. He's an all-around player backup. D-Mitch, when he's pitching, can provide some unproven offense there. And I think Mikey Fish can lock it down if that's what indeed he goes with. But I think right now Zelo's in there as well for the running, and he's a great D-man as well. I've seen him in a couple games when we were scrimmaging him, and
yeah, he was really solid.
Fine. What about you, Colin?
No, I don't see D-Mitch getting much playing time. I'm gonna say Mikey Fish will be. Personally to me, I think Vin Mang will make the move for Mikey Fish, move him over to right wing because he usually plays left. Or not right wing. My bad. Right D. Usually plays lefty. But I think at lefty, he will put Armageddon. He's a solid defenseman. Vin Mang got him late in the draft. That was a steal pick. But I think the defensive pairing is going to be Mikey Fish and Armageddon. And if that's the defensive pairing, they don't have to worry about Vin Mang being in net too much.
Okay. Now, last but not least, let's move to the goaltending for Vin Mang, and that looks like it's going to be Wolf Tears 12. I'm pretty sure he was a rookie last year goalie. I think they really got a steal on this guy with this pick and where they got him. So what do you guys think?
Uh, when we played against him, he was in net for 2 different games. Uh, I I can't personally say he was a great goalie. He had a tendency to fall for dekes and slide all over the net, which led to us getting a couple of goals. If he calmed down and did some more positioning work and worked on that, he'd be a pretty solid net keeper. But I don't know if Hinmang is actually going to start him. I don't know how he's played the other scrimmages that Vin's had them been doing or in club or whatnot, and I don't know if Inmang's seen any of that himself. So I don't know if he's actually going to end up starting him or not. And if he does, I think that might be a little bit of a mistake. With D-Mitch and Mikey in front of him, if that's how it goes, or Zelo or and get it on, or any good defenders in front of him, obviously that's mitigated a lot. Having maybe not that great of a goalie, but I don't think Wolf Tears was that solid, and that could be a problem for them if their deep pairing doesn't shut down the offense as they should. It could lead to a lot of goals.
Yeah, I
Tucker?
totally agree. Wolf Tears, I mean, I haven't seen him much. I've seen him a couple scouting games, but he does slide a little bit. Sometimes comes off the post, gives up the short side. But I mean, like he said, I mean, you can have 7 shots, 31 shots. It all depends on how your D is in front of you. You can have a mediocre goalie if you have decent D. Now they have decent D, but the thing is, with everyone knows D, Mitch, and Pinchin, when he gets upset, you start seeing him play more as a forward than a defenseman. So it'd be interesting to see if that happens again, and he leaves the goalie out, hang out to dry. So it all depends on how the D is and how much of a difference he played from last season to this season as well.
Ballin?
Honestly, I'm gonna say Bin Meng is gonna start himself in net. Um, uh, Wolf Pierce, aka Chaos Rider, I think it was. He was on my team last season, and I think we had him as a backup defenseman. I've never seen him play goalie. I think he can only play defense and forward. I don't think he's a strong goalie. But I think Vinman is going to get the start, and then in front of him, as I said before, Mikey Fish and Armageddon going to be able to shut it down. So Vinman's not going to have much to worry about back there.
Okay, so playoff team?
Yes.
I say midfield, depending on how the goalie does. Maybe midfield to lower, maybe like 7th seed.
Theory?
Could be very high or could be very low. I think they're definitely going to clinch a playoff spot. Would be my opinion, unless they have a massive breakdown. But whether they're high or low totally depends on the chemistry that they work out and how well they end up working together. Whether they start, Wolf Tears, whether the 2 forwards they pair with Funny Hundy are going to be good enough to take advantage of all Funny Hundy has to offer, which is a hell of a lot, and how well they end up actually working together. Right now, from when we scrim them, I think if they do make a playoff spot, it would be pretty low on the order, and I do think they'd manage at least that. But for them to get very high in the playoff seed, I think they have a lot of work that needs doing before they're going to manage to get that spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be bottom of the playoff roundabout, like 6th to 8th range. I think it's a good fit for them. They got good forwards, good D-man. Like we said, the goalie's a little bit questionable, but I've seen Lin Meng steal some games, play well. So yeah, I think he's going to have to do that a lot to get that higher seed that they want, like a 5th, 4th. But if that happens, I think they can squeak that out. But most likely, I see this team being like a 6th to 8th ranked team. Okay. So the next team we have here is Half-Baked Souls team, a returning captain. You got Masters, Gregorian, Chickstick Brownies or Insane Brownies, Evolution, I Need More Lemons, USSR Sniper, Brent, and New York Yankees.
Who's this again?
Okay, so let's start with the forwards. Half Baked Skull.
He actually
And
just picked
then,
someone else up. Elitism. He just picked him up off on waivers.
okay. Yeah, that's a D-man. Okay, so their forwards right now is Gregorian, Masters, and Half Baked Skull. That will be their starting forward line for day one.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Good forwards. Expect a lot of numbers being put up between them two guys.
Yeah, exactly. Half Baked Skull vet in the league here. Gregorian, Masters, both rookies, but both play together a ton actually, and I expect them to, like Typhoon said, put up big numbers, a lot of goals, a lot of assists. They got some set plays. They know each other really well. They've been playing since, like, I think 09 they were saying in the parties, so that definitely can help a little bit. What about you, Spirit?
Yeah, this is a pretty good forward line. They definitely have a lot of chemistry and know what each other are doing and where they're going to be on the ice and how to play with each other. If anything, Half-Baked Skull, because he hasn't played with them as much as those two have played with each other, might end up holding back a little because he doesn't have that chemistry with them that they have with each other. And they'll be expecting him to be doing things that he might not necessarily know that they're expecting, and so on and so on. So if anything, Half-Baked Skull is on that forward line. I think he might hold them back a little bit. But they're definitely both really great players. They are rookies to the Moose, though, and it'll be interesting to see how they match up against some of the better defensive lines this season, some of the better defensive players. I happened to randomly face them in a club match a couple days ago. Masters wasn't there. Gregorian was there, and he's definitely a lethal forward, and he knows what he's doing. So we'll have to see. I think they definitely have one of the stronger offensive lines this season of all these different teams. But we'll see how far just having that is going to take them, especially since they're rookies to the Moose. And we all know it's a big shock going from playing OTP games and club games against random people to all of a sudden jumping in a 6v6 league in the Moose with some really talented players and whatnot. There's a big shock difference there between the skills and talents. So and how the game is played. So we'll have to see what that actually comes down to.
And what I'm understanding is Gregorian was for Stig, so he's not a rookie.
Oh, okay. So then he's not. I thought this was his first season. Okay, no, then he's not a rookie. Masters, I think, if he's just bringing him now, I think Masters was the rookie then.
Yeah. Okay, so the defense of Half-Baked Skull, I assume is going to be Evolution and I Need More Lemons. But Evolution, I do believe, is 2 of 3, so to see who's going to fill in for him, I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe Brent fill in there. USSR Sniper sitting on the bench, but I think he's a forward. New York Yankees is a rookie. I think he's a forward as well. So what do you guys think about the defense mixed in with that 2 of 3?
Good defenseman. I had Lemons last season on my team. Always came into mind. He was always able to counteract Mitch pinching all the time when he got frustrated. So he's a good stay-at-home D. So the goalie has that strong right side to help protect him.
Great.
Pretty decent defenders. I don't know if I'd rate them among the top couple of people. I don't think I would, but they're pretty decent. Something to note, though, is while they are pretty good D, and I know we're going to go over this next as far as goalies does, I don't know if he's starting Insane Brownies. But Insane Brownies is a call-up, and seeing as how well he does, even though the team he can be called up to has a lot of goalies, I think he's going to be called up. So as good as their defensive line is, it might not help them if Insane Brownies is called up, and they don't have a really good goalie in there like him. So I don't know how well the defensive line is actually going to do, because start letting in goals and whatnot, I think they're going to collapse, and I think any chemistry that they've worked out might fall apart. And I think both of them have been pretty solid Ds on other teams and whatnot and doing other things, but we'll have to see how that actually works out, because I don't know how well they're going to play together, and especially if they don't have a good starting goalie or he gets called up, then I think that could mess up their D a lot.
Colin?
Evolution and I Need More Lemons is a solid D pairing, but as said before, Evolution, he's a 2 out of 3, and he refuses Wednesdays. So whenever they play on Wednesday and Evolution's available to play, he still cannot play. So that comes into an effect. But I think their backup defenseman is NY Yankees. I've seen his game tag in parties once in a while. Haven't seen him play much, but I think he'll be filling in for Evolution when he can't play that third series, or if they play on a Wednesday.
Okay, and that about wraps it up for the D-man. And as Spirit stated, obviously the goalie for Half-Baked as of now is Chickstick Brownies or Insane Brownies. My goalie from last season. What do you think about this one, Spirit?
Best goalie by far in the AHL is my opinion. There's a couple who are very good and very close to him. Mason, when he's playing well, I think he's a pretty good goalie. Stromdat Git is a pretty good goalie, though during the season he didn't get much play time last season. He's also pretty good. He showed exactly how good he is in postseason and whatnot. And a couple others. Paddleite's also pretty good. But I would absolutely have to put Insane Brownies as the number one best goalie in the AHL. So when he's there, when he's present and he doesn't get called up, I think he's going to be a lockdown goalie for them. And I think that's going to be a huge factor along with their offensive line in carrying them into a very high playoff spot and into the postseason. But that's only if Insane Brownies can actually stay. I think his call-up team also has a hockey gal who's also a great goalie, and I think they also had another very good goalie as a call-up as well, along with Insane Brownies. But I can't. Insane Brownies was available as a call-up, and he was picked up as a call-up, as all the other call-ups were. And judging by how good of a goalie he is, I cannot see a team saying, "Oh, we have him available. Let's not ever." Use him for a couple games. And when they use him for a couple games, oh my God, he's amazing. Let's call him up, and bam, he's gone just like that. So many teams had problems with that last season, and I think there's going to be another problem for them this season. I think he's going to go up, and I think it might screw up Skull's team 100%.
I'm glad to completely agree with that. I mean, yeah, he's a very shut-down goalie. And especially if he has good D in front of him, it's going to be hard to beat him. So if he gets called up, then it's going to be like, who's their backup goalie? Does anyone know?
I think it's Brent.
Yeah, it would be Brent.
Yeah, Brent's their backup.
Oh, Brent 22. Oh, man.
Hey, shut up.
Thank you. Thank you. Brent, I'm sorry, but I love you, but you're going to get eaten alive. No, Brent's a good goalie. So they have a good, solid backup goalie, but it's still not Brownies. That's the thing. So I mean, if they get Brownies to play a game, that's pretty much almost a guaranteed win with a shutdown D in front of them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I'm going to have to say they're going to be probably top 3 teams for playoffs.
Yeah, so that brings into this next question: playoff team, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. If Insane Brownie stays and doesn't get called up, and he's on that team for the season, then I would absolutely say yes. Top 3 spots I could see them being in, yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to comment before I have to go play my MHL series. Yeah, I think they're going to be a playoff team. I'm gonna say mid-pack or closer to the top. I don't know much about their forwards. I know USSR Sniper is a 2 or 3 solid forward. So hopefully he gets some playing time. I know last season he played for Earl Sweatshirt. He didn't get no playing time at all. So when he's on the ice, he can do magic. So if he's in the lineup with whoever else their forwards are, it's a solid team. But overall, I think these guys will finish around 4th or 3rd place.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be a top-tier team, top 5 teams for sure. I think they're going to go deeper into the playoffs and make a run at this thing. The forwards are Gregorian and Masters. I think that's a pretty deadly combo, especially with Half-Baked thrown in there with the veteran experience coming back from last season. And I think that's going to help them carry their way to that top 5 seed.
So what, Fallen, you leaving?
Yeah, I gotta go play my
Oh,
NHL
well,
series.
hey, one thing real quick. Before people stop, so people can stop making fun of you, you got a little dirt on your face. You might want to wash that off. You know, like right here.
Yeah, where
Your
you
little
guys?
brown on your
Yeah,
nose.
yeah, it's on Typhoon's face too. I just want to smudge
All
it
Hey,
right,
off.
hey, hey,
I'm
hey,
out.
hey.
Peace,
I wasn't
guys.
gonna say anything.
Yeah, you
I'm
got the
also
whole
like
beard.
30 years old. I mean, I gotta have it.
Okay, so the next team, moving on without falling here, is Brown's team. You got Weaver, you got Boosh 26, you got Trobby Trobs, you got Q Wilson, you got I Clutch, you got Angry Nachos, Caminator, and Army of One, also known as Team Drape.
Okay, uh, can I start with this one, please?
Yes, you can.
All right. First, I've got to say, okay, the guy Camernator, okay, good player, but they're pretty much almost the rest of the team who no one knows who the hell they are. What I'm understanding is that he went and pretty much raped the top leaderboards on the NHL game and got them to join the league, and then told them not to do any kind of scouting. That's what I'm hearing. But I mean, what makes it fishy is there's been instances where the player itself, when they signed up for 2/3, not understanding the rules of the 2/3, and then decided like to kind of raise a stink about it when they found out that they can't play all three. So it was kind of like what's going on here with the kind of sketchy sign-ups and stuff like that, and then no one never seen any of these guys play in the scouting lobbies at all, not one. So I mean, something's up. I'm going to have to say he's going to be one of the captain fails this year if he hasn't already.
Um, again, this is one of those teams where they have a bunch of players that we don't necessarily all know about if anything with. A lot of them, some of them didn't scout, but it does all come down to how they're going to play on the ice. If they're all going to stick around is a big issue with a lot of these rookie teams and teams of people that we don't know. The good thing with veterans is that you know that they're committed and that they're going to be around, and that's one of the reasons why you draft a veteran, because they played in the seasons before. They know what it takes and the commitment it takes to be on every week to play these games. These rookies don't. So I think a major problem he's going to have, as well as some of the other rookie teams here, is that they might not be around the entire season. They might not be on every night as they're supposed to. They might not have that commitment that you really need. This team's going to struggle, I think, not just because of that, but I think there's going to be a lot of chemistry issues because they're rookies and never played with each other before. Some of them singularly are pretty good, but I don't think any of these guys are top players. Brown himself is a pretty good winger, though, so I think that's a good factor for them
I
to
can
keep
see
playing.
him kind of being like a fail a little bit because he doesn't pass a lot. I mean, everyone's seen the game. Once he gets moving, trying to be a dangle dick, he just stops passing the puck. Actually, we also forgot to name Smoked Panda. He just picked Smoked Panda up off the waivers.
Another person I have no fucking idea who
Yeah.
that is. But I know Q Wilson's a pretty solid D man. I've played with Wilson before. I don't know. I can't really make much of a judgment on these teams. A lot of people have thrown around Bush and Trobby Trob's names as singularly by themselves pretty good players, but I don't know them. I've never seen them play, so I can't comment on that. But even if they are singularly good players, especially in the Moose, being good by yourself is not a recipe for success.
No,
Got to have
this
a team.
this ain't a threes lobby.
Yeah.
And we've seen that already with some players. Like they come here thinking, oh well, we can just do the same thing we do in threes and fail.
And
So
I can't really see a team in the players he has. The potential's there, I'm sure. I'm sure they all play their positions and they know what they're doing individually. But as far as working as a team, I have not played them. I have not played with them, so I can't see them as being a team. So I think Brown. I don't know if he's gonna really fail this season or whether he's just gonna be like a Saint last season kind of fail where they just don't win games. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here whatsoever. So
Okay, quick update. Sorry to cut you off. What I'm seeing here is Brown is playing defense apparently, and Smoke Panda is a third goalie because Clutch and Caminator is call-ups. That's what I'm seeing in the chat box. I don't know how legit that is, but
so he also has a bunch of call-ups. That's not a good thing for them as well. Not good. Not good. More problems.
who knows? I mean, some of
Yeah,
these people are
Travi
just
Trobs
probably
and
just
Booth
saying
are
stuff
both
in there.
good players, but I can't see it. Brown playing D, I just can't see it. And I heard from Brown that Smoke Pan is a decent goalie and he's going to be like his so-called starter. But Brown playing D, I don't see that happening and being successful. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I don't see him. I probably seventh, like last place basically. I want to see him be one of the booger teams.
So we're going to move on. But first off, I don't know what it is with Typhoon's thing, but you're way behind. Like your voice is shown on the picture, and then all of a sudden, your voice starts like 15 seconds later. But it's all good. Let's move on to the D-man for Brown. And right now, it's going to be Weaver and Q Wilson are their starters right now. So what do you guys think about those two?
I know for a fact that Wilson's a pretty good D-man. I don't know Weaver so well. I've seen him play a couple times, but I imagine he's pretty shut down. I don't know if I'd put these guys at the top of the D-man for the AHL, but as a pairing, I think they're pretty solid. So I think they might be the best of Brown's team right now as a defensive line. I think they might be the biggest plus for them, depending on how Bush and Trobs actually end up playing together with Brown. But he does have a pretty good defensive line. I think that's a major plus for them. I think they're both pretty good.
I agree. And Weaver was the 4th overall pick, so Brown couldn't have went wrong with him. He's a great guy, great D-man. I think he's going to do well with Q Wilson being a defensive D-man and some offensive presence with both Weaver and Q Wilson. So I think that pairing is going to do a lot of good things for that team this season. What about you, Typhoon? Any last words on it?
Yeah, I mean, good. They're good D's, but I mean, I don't know about how far the team overall will do.
Okay, let's move on to goalies then. Right now, it's looking like iClutch is going to be the starter, but Caminator's right there. I don't know. I think Caminator should be the starter. What about you guys?
Caminator.
I don't know iClutch well enough to say. Caminator's pretty all right in goalie. I would start Caminator, but I don't know iClutch, so I can't really tell you.
Yeah, I agree. Caminator's a great goalie, played in the NHL, got unlucky to be on Saints' team. Well, he's a great captain, but his team wasn't the greatest. But I think Caminator definitely should be the starter. We played in me, Gino, Blue Liner, some other random people like Kool-Aid Man too. We played their team. We beat them 9-2 with iClutch in net, and Caminator we lost like twice in overtime, like 7-6 or something. Like it was a goaltending duo all series, the middle series we had. So, but I don't know. I don't think their goaltending is a strong point on the team. I think it's going to be like another Earl sweatshirt. But anyway, moving on to the next team here, we got Jetskiller with A-Tree, Darkstorm, Scribbles McNasty, Strumneck Selena Gomez, Mouth 23, Andrews, and King of the 412. And their forwards looking like it's going to be, I don't know.
Yeah,
well, he also traded. He just traded Selena Gomez for Blackjack MVP, I believe, as well.
What? What a trade! Who traded him?
I don't know whether it was listed incorrectly. I think it was to Blue. No, Cracker Joe is on this list. Cracker Joe has Blackjack. So I'm going to say it's to Cracker Joe. I think it was listed as Blue Liner for some reason. I don't know if Blue Liner picked up Blackjack from Cracker somehow, and then that was also traded. this is a definitely a good trade for Jets as far as forward line goes. I think what they were missing was a really good
Why
center.
would you do that?
I think Blackjack's a really good center, and I think
He's a
he's going to do
beast.
much better for Jets Killers team than Selena Gomez. Yeah, it's a great trade for Jets. As far as forward line goes for Jets, well, I don't know. They have great D, so it doesn't really matter who's on their forward line. I think they're going to do really well this season. Um, especially the pickup of Blackjack, I think really helps them in the forward line with their D. Blackjack's also a great defensive center, so yet again, that just adds more to their defense. I think it's going to be really tough to crack through their team. I don't see them scoring much goals, but I see them winning a lot because their defense is going to stop the other team's offense from scoring anything whatsoever.
Yeah, actually, there is two pickups. Jets Killer picks up Major Winters and Jay Steeler 1972. So he just picked them off of the waiver list. Selena Gomez, I've seen him play before in pub rooms and scouting lobbies. I mean, he's just one of those kind of like puck hogs a little bit, tries to do a little too much, one too many moves. So it all depends. I think it's a good trade from Jets. I mean, he got a good pickup for that. So, and I'm going to quick reset my thing here. To the people watching this, no more personal attacks in the chat box. Come on, let's keep it clean. I mean, it needs to stop. All right.
Who are they attacking?
Yeah, who are they attacking?
Oh, there he
Hey,
goes.
Spirit, let's move on without him. Okay, so we're on Jets Killer, right? Let's move on to the
Yeah.
D-man with 8. No, I think it's Skrulls, McNasty, and Darkstorm. I'm pretty sure Atree's playing forward, so what do you think about that, too?
That is supposed to be what's going on, I believe. Hold on. As far
What's
as
that?
D goes, I mean, they're pretty. Darkstorm, I gotta say, that was one of the things that really threw me for a loop in the draft. Darkstorm was my draft went pretty well. I got everyone I thought I was going to get, except for one person or two people, I should say. You were one of those two people, Belial, and then Darkstorm was the other one. Um, Not that that's a surprise. I think everyone and their mothers wanted Darkstorm and just wanted him in and around everything, involving everything. Darkstorm is a boss. Darkstorm is extremely a boss. Well, so more importantly this season, he is not a call-up. He is there. This entire season, he's going to be locked down D, and I'm pretty sure he's going to probably win stuff for Jets' team. I can't possibly praise Darkstorm more. He is the best, one of the best, if not the best, defensive players in the AHL, in the entirety of the Moose, in my opinion. There are some players who are above him in the MHL on D who are also really good, but Darkstorm has that potential. He could be easily playing up there. He's not. Too bad for us because I didn't get him. Jets Killer, your team's going to be really good this season, especially with Darkstorm. Really good.
Yeah, I agree. Darkstorm's a top D-man in the AHL. He proved it last season, proved it the season before, and the season before that. He should be in the MHL, no doubt. But it's definitely a steal for Jets having not no rights for this season. I think that's going to pay out big time for him. Maybe make a bigger playoff push, and we'll see what happens. What about you, Typhon? What do you think of Joel McNasty and Darkstorm on D?
All right. Is this sounding better?
Sounds fun.
All right, cool. Because last time I was getting a little bit laggy apparently with
You're
Belial.
way behind me, but just keep going.
But Scribbles and Darkstorm
Still
both
are.
both both amazing D. I got to play with them both, and I wish I had them in front of me all the time. So the goalie has pretty much a president in front of him. I mean, they're going to pretty much stop a lot of the stuff. So he doesn't have to worry about many shots.
Okay, so let's move on and let's see what else do we have. We just covered D-man. Let's go to goalies here. Looking like Strumnak Eats their goalie right now. He has rights. You never know, he get called up. So I'm pretty sure that's the only goalie right now. You got Anders there as a backup. So that looks pretty good for their goal. What do you guys think? Well, that use great.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot to say about this team in many different ways. So I don't want to comment much on this. Uh, all the potential. There's a lot of potential here, but whether they're going to make it or not, I can't say. Who's their forward line? Lyle? Who was their forward line? Who were their players?
There it is. I think it was Belial who was kind of lagging out on their thing.
Oh, did he just lag
Yeah.
out? Oh,
Their forward line, I do not have it up. I totally missed all of it. Speaking, did he come back?
I think he's on his way back right now.
Yes, give him 1 second. There you go, Bilal.
There he is.
Your mic's mute. You might
Wow,
want
who's
to
that
hit the button on top to unmute your mic.
Hit the button.
As
on top,
I
Lyle.
was saying,
There we go.
I was like
Fail.
15 seconds behind you guys. So
Yeah, that was you, man.
it was awful.
Making me reset myself because thinking I was behind.
Who's their forward line, Bilal?
For who, sorry?
We were truly for Canadian. Was the next team?
Deadmaster Dank, Must Have Fallen, Volorn.
Oh, we forgot to mention, Truly just picked up Conk V2.
Okay, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential to that forward line, I think. Must have Fallen's a pretty good player. Dutch Master.
Yeah, but here's
Zank,
the thing with
he's a pretty good
Musafal.
center.
He's a call-up, and he's a call-up for a team that Bieber is on. We all know. Yes, I'm calling it right now. You're hearing it first right now. Bieber was nominated, thinking someone might have been picked up by who was it? Hollywood Bob, I think it was, whoever the captain is, and no one bid on him, so he got stuck with Bieber. So yeah, Mustafallen is the first call up pick for his team. So I have a feeling probably not the first game, but probably at the end of the first week, Bieber's probably going to be sent down and Mustafallen being called up.
I've heard rumors that and Liberated saying that in chat about he's already been called up.
Yeah,
and,
okay, yeah, I'm seeing
Bieber's
here,
been
yes.
sent down, so Mustafallen's gone, and then Bieber's going to be playing net for Canadian, which makes me think that it's probably going to be. Then it's Dutch Master Dank, Valorn, and who Liberated? You're sitting in the chat. Who else is on your forward line now? Who are they moving in there?
Bieber would be on the forward line.
No, Bieber's playing net.
Yeah, Bieber's playing net for them.
Really?
Yes.
If Liberated would tell us,
looks
I don't
like
know.
Conk version 2, I guess
Conk
was
V2.
a snapshot, yes.
Okay, all right. So he's in the forward line. I think Conk's a pretty good player. I've played with him a couple times, and Dutch Master Dank's a really good center, and Volorn's a pretty good winger. I don't think any of them are well. Dutch Master Dank's a really good center, but I don't think Volorn or Conk are top wingers. So we'll see how much chemistry they can actually work out. I think moving the puck really well in the offensive zone is going to be something that they're going to need to work on and get down and get that chemistry together, get those cross creases up and going and whatnot. But as far as forward lines goes, I think these are very solid players. They're all going to be in positions at all times. They're not going to be all over the ice. They're not going to be playing like idiots. So it's going to be a team to watch out for on offense, I think, if they work on it a little bit and get that chemistry together. They definitely have a very good forward line.
Yeah. Well, apparently Conk is Dutch's brother, so if he can play as well as what Dutch does,
Really?
yes. So if he can play as well as Dutch, then they have a strong forward.
Okay, so comes on last season. He's got potential. He's definitely got potential, but he's nowhere near his bro right now. He's got maybe a couple seasons more in the AHL. And I think he'll be a good forward, but he's somebody that's got to find his game, find out what he does best, and work on it to become a good forward in this season.
Let's talk about the goalie. Can we?
The goalie.
Yeah, let's talk about the goalie.
The goalie, well, Bieber, I guess. Now.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna light him up. Actually, no, I'm playing that. I can't. Shit. But I've seen him play. He is an okay goalie. He's not like top goalies like Mason and Brownies. Like he makes himself out to be like he's been doing in the past. I've seen him play in club rooms, and he's done quit out in games, and it's kind of funny. So it's not going to be as easy as he thinks it is, especially in this league. I can see him being a mediocre goalie in this league.
I mean, knowing his reputation.
All I know is that he sits in the butterfly.
Yep, all you have to do is pick the corners.
That he does
pick the corners. That's all you need to do.
Lift it in the corners over his shoulders. It's not just that, though. I mean, knowing his reputation and a lot of other things that I've seen him factually do. I know he's quitting out of games to make goalie stats not count in terms of club and OTPs. I'm not surprised. That would be the least of things that
he's done many a time.
I've seen him do it before. He's not that great a goalie. He only had like 3 games in net, I think, last season. Only one of them was really good, and it was against not that great teams. I don't know how. I mean, it's a good thing. The defensive line in front of him. I don't know who's playing with. I guess Liberated would probably be one of the two. I don't know who's playing with him, but Liberated is a pretty shut down D man, and I think
probably true for Canadian beside him.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be shut down.
Place.
I mean,
yeah,
Liberated can hit.
That's huge.
If we're trying to get in, it's going to be tough because at Liberated he packs a punch, and I've seen people get injured like every single series by him, and so it's going to be tough trying to get in to even get even close to the goalie.
And that's going to be one of the things that if Bieber does have a good season starting in net, it's going to be because of Liberated and Truly for Canadian sitting in front of him and protecting him, because that is a pretty good D. Overall, as a team, I think this is a great team. Definitely playoffs, I'd say at the least middle of the pack, unless they get some chemistry down and get that up and going, in which case I think they could be closer to the top. They have very solid players pretty much all around. Solid D. I don't have very good things to say about Bieber, but with that defensive and offensive line in front of him, he doesn't have to be that good. Doesn't really matter. So I think this is a great team this season. I think Truly for Canadian drafted really well and did a lot of good with this. We'll see how well their chemistry works out, but I think this is one of the top teams to look out for this season.
I'll completely agree. I say middle field, especially with the D. They're not going to get many shots, but the thing is can Bieber stop those shots? With Bieber not being as good as a goalie, which a lot of people seen him play net, knows how well he can be and can't be. So, I mean, it depends. So.
Okay, that wraps up Truly's team there. On to the team, which I'm a part of. We got myself, Boston, 15th, Halak, Shattenkirk, Gugatron, Gardner, and Gears Guru, also known as Kent.
What team's this?
This is Opshall, it's my team.
Oh, and you guys just picked up UA...
Almost easy.
Arnold Teasy. Who is that? Can you inform us, please?
Almost easy. He's the goalie from season pass. He's been in the league for a while. He's a goalie. He can play any position. He's basically a utility. He can play anywhere.
Oh, so you got a good utility player then. That's good.
Yeah, so let's run on the forward. I'll just assume here, Upshaw, this is a hint. Belial, 15th, and Upshaw, most likely up front. What do you guys think about that?
Well, Upshaw's a good player. I don't know about that Belial guy. He seems a little sketchy to me. Sometimes he just shits the bed. I think he's a booger. No, I think you guys got a pretty solid line. I'm going to be expected to put up a lot of points with this line as well. A good line to be reckoned with.
Great.
Well, I
15.
got to say, Upshaw can go fuck himself because 11th pick right in front of me. I was literally about to pick you, and he picked you up, and that's messed up, Upshaw. How could you do that to me? How could you do that to me? So sad. So sad. I didn't get Bilal.
Hey, here you go. Need a hanky?
I
Here you go.
I really solid forward line. Belial is a wicked forward. Upshaw knows what he's doing. Boston knows what he's doing. I don't know if chemistry is going to be a big thing. I don't know if they're going to work it out. But if they feed Belial the puck and move it around in the zone, I can't see them not scoring goals. I think they're gonna work together really well. I don't know, but I mean, Gugatron's also a pretty awesome winger. Is he not a
He's a
starting winger
beast.
for you guys? Is he back
Well,
up?
Upshaw's a left winger. What are you doing over there, Typhoon?
Nothing.
Upshaw's a left winger. You got myself on right wing. You got 15 to center, but you never know. He might get called up because he has right center. Gugatron can fill in left wing, center. He can fill in anywhere, actually.
Isn't 15th a call up, or is 15th
Yeah,
and Boston
He
call ups?
has right. Oh, no, Boston's not a call-up, but 15th and Shattenkirk are call-ups.
Okay.
What I'm seeing here is Belial rides the pine pony and 15 scores all the goals.
No, 15th rides the pine, and he's getting traded. And, yeah.
Wow.
It's just an ongoing joke between me and 15th. He's getting traded, I'm getting benched, and everything's happening all season.
Don't worry, I'll talk with Upshaw. I'll make sure it happens.
Moving on to the D-man,
Damn, McCann.
Boston and Shattenkirk are starting. What do you guys think of that one?
Well, I can say Boston, solid D. Solid
Yeah.
right D. And the funny thing, he can even play a right wing. So if he gets in that situation where he gets a good pinch and causes a good turnover, he knows how to play that wing very well for a cycle. So, I mean, that's a good pickup. I'm not exactly sure on the other D-man. Who was it again?
Shattenkirk.
Shattenkirk.
I'm not too sure about him. Not really familiar with the name.
He was a vet from, I think, season 11 MHL, so quite a few seasons back. So he's coming back from the MHL. He has rights, not sure who, I think Ibs. And so he has rights too. We've also got Gardner as his backup.
I've played in I think 2 or 3 different lobbies with Shattenkirk, and obviously I play a lot with Boston. I know Boston's pretty locked down. Shattenkirk, as a defensive pairing goes, is definitely one of the more solid lines. They're not going to give up many breakaways or let in so many cross shots. There's something to be said about Boston. I think Boston's a much better D-man than Shattenkirk, though. I think Boston's would be in probably the top 10 D players in the AHL. He's really solid. I don't know how well they're going to do overall, though. It really all comes down to chemistry. Individually, a lot of these guys are great players. Some of them have worked as captains before, and they've played a lot of games on the ice. They played with each other. They played against each other. And I think it's really going to come down to how well they can move the puck and get it out of their zone, and how well they can keep it into the other team's side. And I think they're going to score a lot of goals if they do. Call-ups, though, is going to be an issue for them. If 15th and Shattenkirk get called up, I think it's going to hurt this team a lot, especially defensively. They're not going to have 15th back-checking, and Shattenkirk won't be there for Boston. And if Boston's left alone, I think that could cause some major issues. And if Gugatron gets put in there for 15th, Gugas is pretty good, but I don't think he back-checks as well as 15th does. And I think that could be a big issue for them in the future. So call-ups could mess this team up.
There are some rumors though, like if 15th does go up, the man that's dropping is Longton, and you saw what he did last year to come down to
Oh,
the AHL. So
yeah, yeah.
if he
Longton's pretty
comes
good.
down, that's pretty beast right there. And also, you gotta give a shout out to Gardner too. Here, he's a beast player as well. Also, like Guru Clark Kent, as you know him, Gurutron was a beast last season. Knocked out Blue Liners team after he got traded there. Um, Good playoff run with Jets, who was his top scorer with Blackjack MVP. I think this is going to be a pretty beast team all around.
And the only thing is that I'm not too sure about the last year's rivals being on the same line. I mean, that could cause some controversy right there, you know?
I think these guys are way too professional for
So
that. That's the next season. It doesn't really matter.
moving on to goal, we have Halak as our starting goalie.
Solid goalie. Very solid goalie.
I'm not on the Halak train. I don't know.
Really?
I've played with him. I played with him a lot in the scouting lobbies before last season. I've seen him around in a few season games and doing different things. And I don't know. He works. Maybe it was just because the games I was in, he didn't have a good defensive line in front of him. I mean, he's pretty solid. Good positioning. I think he'd work on his angles a little bit, but or no, the other way around. He's good angles, but I think he'd work on his positioning a little bit. I don't know. I don't think he's that solid. He's way better than some of the other goalies, but I wouldn't put him in the top 5. You know, he's not St. Brown. He's not Padelite. He's not
It's not a
Strumbeck.
typhoon.
No, well, I don't know about that. I don't know. A lot of people aren't Typhoon, and that could be a good way or a bad way.
I love you too.
But I don't know. I mean, he's a pretty solid in that, but I don't think he's a top player. I don't think it's going to matter much with Boston and Shattenkirk in front of him, though.
No.
But again, if Shattenkirk gets called up and Boston's alone, his play could become very important and could come down to how well he's going to do in net if those call-ups do happen.
I gotta strongly disagree with that. I put him in the same category as Mason, Brownies, and Geet. Top 5 goalies. He played like very slimly last season as I think a late round pick, and he tied in St. Brownies with shutouts with I think 4 in like I think 15 games, which is 1 every 4 games, basically 1 every series. I think that's pretty damn solid if I do say so myself.
So anyway, Blau, you can't answer this question. Spear, what do you think? Top playoff team or just barely making it or not making it at all?
I think they're going to be middle of the line playoffs, depending on middle of the line to top, depending again on what could happen during the season and their chemistry. To be honest, if that call-up does happen and 15 ends up going up, I think getting Longton down would be a major boost to that team. Nothing against 15th is a great winger, but Longton is Longton. I have a lot of faith in Longton. I think he's a great winger, and I think him coming down could actually help them a lot because he's also really solid on D and would help Boston and Shattenkirk a lot. I mean, nothing against 15th, but I think Longton's a beast defensive player as well. I see them being at least middle of the pack here. If they can't work out the chemistry 100%, if they have a couple of issues, I think they're still going to make it middle of the line. If they work out all their issues, they work out all their chemistry, whether they get Longton or even keep 15th, and they end up moving the puck well on the ice, I think this team easily has the tendency to be one of the top 3 teams if they get everything down pat and get everything. But definitely solid players all around and definitely a very good team and someone to watch out for this season.
Okay, Blau, you know you want to chime in.
Yeah, I think we're going to be, like Speary said, middle of the pack, 4th, 5th, 1st, one of those positions. Winning the Antler Cup, no bigs. But I think we're going to be a solid team and a team to be reckoned with all season. Moving on to the next team, we got another media guy here, Spirits' team, and up front, he's got Taupe, Piggy, and Chaos Samurai. What do you guys think about that?
I think he did I gotta ask, who the hell did you do to get the crack deals you got to get the picks you got? I mean, you got some good picks during the during the draft. How did you pull that one off? I gotta ask.
Well, Saint is a pretty demanding sex master, but if you get down on your hands and knees, you're willing to work it out, and he's willing to put you down at the bottom of that order to get you back-to-back picks. You can end out on top. You won't end out on top with him, of course, but you will end out on top on the season.
Just quickly go through your list for us. Who do you have on your team?
Well, I got Toke and Piggy sitting on the wings. Toke's on right wing and Piggy's on left wing, and I got Chaos Samurai as a center. I have Tomb starting right now in lefty, and we tried a bunch of different people at right D before ending up with Airborne Infantry, who was ex-wiffle ball, a former captain, and also a pretty solid D, and we've gotten him up to snuff. He's in the Army, so he has he had some scheduling issues last season, which made him step down and whatnot the season before last.
Yes, he was on my team last season.
Yeah, and when he doesn't go for the hits, he's a pretty good, solid defensive skater. And then we're switching back and forth now. They're starting me and Net or Jonster, who a lot of you guys probably don't know, is also a pretty solid net minder.
Jonster was on my team last year as well.
Yeah, he's pretty solid in net.
I would have to say, I mean, especially with getting Chaos, you got Chaos late.
Fifth round. Yeah.
Fourth round.
Was it?
Still, that is
it was the end of the fourth. I fourth,
that
fifth,
is
back to back. Yeah.
Deal. That hold on. Where is it? That's a steal. That is a steal.
Yeah.
Your D, I mean, I play with Tomb a little bit. If you can mold him to what you want him to be, he can be a good player. He can be a little kind of like stubborn sometimes, but if you can get past that, he can be a solid D. Just work with him a little bit. Airborne, when he's not going for the hits, good D, but he's just like D Mitch. When he gets frustrated, he starts going for the hits and starts playing a little bit more forward. But then again, you also have Jonster there. Jonster can also play D as well as play net. So I mean, if one of those two guys it's not kind of holding up their side, Jonster not only can play D, he can play both sides of the ice on D. So I mean,
never mind that we also have Dirty Downey. He's one of the best utility players in the AHL.
Exactly. So you have depth with your D. So I mean, how you pulled this off was just amazing. And to be honest, I'm gonna have to probably put you top 3 teams.
It was preparation.
Bottom 3. Wow.
We spent I understand why he's saying that, but it's I don't know how many. I don't know if you guys have played with Chaos a lot, but Chaos is a beast, as Typhoon said. Chaos Samurai is probably the best center in the AHL.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion.
When I got him last season through a trade, I had to give up Mustafa on him, but when I got him in trade, our team started making a good turnaround, but it was a little late in the season.
Yeah.
But I mean, to have him on your team as a center is just a plus. I mean, just straight up plus.
He's always where he needs to be. He's very strong defensively. He comes back and he back checks. As far as forward, I mean, I think the teams we've scrimmed against can probably tell you how lethal we've gotten and what we've moved up with. I understand some people might put us bottom 3 because they might not think our D is that great. Some people have different opinions of Tomb and Airborne. But as far as forward line goes, I think this is one of the better forward lines in the AHL. Piggy, I think, proved himself last season how well he does, and he finishes. He's not like one of those, he doesn't skate up and miss the net all the time. He puts it in the net. He knows what he's doing. Toke is a very strong player. He can also put it in the net when it needs to be done, but he back checks really quickly. He always gets back on the ice. He's actually been very instrumental in doing a lot of different things for our team, passing it around, helping out Chaos Samurai and whatnot. with positioning. And as far as offensive line goes, any one of these guys can easily come back on D. They can easily score a goal. They can easily get all the cross creases through and work it down low that they need to do. Every single one of them is good at wraparounds and doing different things. And I think this is one of the better forward lines in the AHL, in my opinion. Of course, I drafted them. I might be biased. But individually, I think you would say every one of those guys is fucking amazing. And when they're together on a forward line, that's even more amazing. And we got the chemistry. We've been working it out, and you guys are going to see what happens during the season.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I mean, who really needs an awesome D if you got an awesome line that can probably put like 5-6 goals in a game? I mean, if you got a decent D that can stop at least some of the shots, and a decent goalie that can probably stop 50% of the shots, you're still going to win because you have that strong forward. So I mean, when we seen it, was it back in before we started the AHL part, where I think it was NJ Ski, he just stacked his complete forward line, and he ended up winning the cup that season because, I mean, he had a decent D and a decent goalie, but his line was so stacked that he ended up winning the cup that season. I think that was like season 7, season 8 of the Moose.
Well, I think Earl Sweatshirt also proved it last season with Primetime and Haxby and Death and whatnot. They didn't have the best defense. They didn't have the best net minding, but they won almost every single series because their offense was just so solid. And my team with Jets, Primetime was not there the last 4 games in which they lost because Haxby was alone on the forward line, and Haxby's also a good winger, but Primetime is also amazing, and he wasn't there. There is, Toom and Airborne has been working on a lot of their D, and I think they're going to be better than a lot of people are expecting them to be. Not the best. It's not Darkstorm, but they're going to be better than a lot of people are expecting them to be. But I think another good, strong defensive thing is that we also have Chaos on defense. Chaos Samurai and Toke come back and play very strong D. We always got a very tight box going on, and I think we're going to be stronger defensively than people think we are. But that forward line was definitely my plan going forward. And I think forechecking is also going to be a major thing that we do very well. And I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
So you're probably going to be playing net?
It's either between me or Younster. It's pretty much a swap. I can be streaky myself. Sometimes I'll have a shutout, and then I'll let in like 10 goals the next game against like Primetime Haxby.
That's EA, though. That's EA.
Some of it is EA, yeah. But Younster's really solid. He's not the best overall goalie, but he's not streaky whatsoever. He's very solid on net. So it's interchangeable. It's most likely going to be Younster going forward, but we'll see what happens there. It's fine either way.
You definitely got to say, though, defense does win championships. Like, you may say, Primetime Haxby bar down. They carried that team. They barely lost, I think, maybe 4 games all season. And they got to the first round, but then what happened? They lost first round because they had no defense.
That's only because Primetime was not there. All of my players are 3 out of 3, and not a single one of them is a call-up. On my draft board, I looked at the call-ups, and I took every single one of those names off my draft board and didn't draft one of them. Every single one of those players is there for the entire season. They are not going to miss games. So there's something to be said about that. I don't have a disappearing Primetime.
But look at the team, though, that Tony put together that won the cup. Look at that D pairing. Top 2 D-men, one went up to the MHL this season. One was a first-round pick this season. The forward line, they lost Longton, they lost Ponch. I think, who did they have? They had, Beaver was playing net by the end of the thing. I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
They had Octizzy. They had Stiff. Octizzy, Stiff, and Beaver switched out with somebody else. Can't remember. But Stiff, not a top 5 forward.
I think that M. Bell, too.
Yeah.
It was M. Bell and Octizzy in the back end.
Octizzy I put as one of the top 5 centers, though. Octizzy's really good on the ice.
But yeah, I definitely think that strong defense leads to strong play offensively, too, because it creates chances and opens up your offense if you can use the point man and stuff like that. But I do give credit to Sperry for that offensive line. Would have liked, never know, that 12th pick, but I'm happy where I am because we're going to kick their ass during the season, but we'll see.
Well, like I said, we worked a lot on D, and I think we're going to surprise you. But that's something, we'll see. I'll tell you what we've seen so far scrimming other teams. I think we're going to very much surprise you.
We are 9-0.
We'll see. See how long that lasts.
Moving on to second last or third last team, I should say. Cracker Joe, Blackjack MVP, who got traded
No longer
earlier.
Blackjack. It's now Selena Gomez.
Yeah, Selena Gomez, Thug, Yeti, Chick Negroes, Terry Pearson, Spitfire, Fat Girls, and Tucker Fan.
And he also has one more. It's Sarge 4275, who is 1/3.
Yeah, he's a great player, though.
I don't know why the pickup for 1/3, but I mean it'd be interesting to see how that plays.
Definitely a lot of veterans on this team. I think a lot of them are really good players. While the loss of Blackjack could, I think, hurt them. Chickstick Negros, it's interesting enough, is friends with Insane Brownies, and it was talk on my team of maybe even picking him up because I know Insane Brownies, we've talked to him about it, and Chickstick Negros is a really solid player according to him, and I'm inclined to trust that. He can play net. I think he's signed up for in a couple other positions. This is a pretty solid team. They got really strong D between whether I think it's probably going to end up with Thug, CTC, and Spitfire would probably be the two people I started, and it's pretty solid D. They got a very strong front line with Yeti Killer and Terry Pearson and Fat Girls for the Win, who was Fat Girls for the Win, I think, was on your team last season for a while.
Yeah, and then I traded him to Tony, and he won the cup.
Oh, yeah, he was on Tony. There you go. That's probably who swapped that with Bieber at the end there in the playoffs, the name you were looking for.
Was.
Yeah, very solid players all around. A lot of them are veterans who have played a lot in the Moose, and they know what they're doing. They know their position. They have the commitment. I think a lot of it is going to come down to chemistry and how well they can work out their ice play and move the puck around. With Terry Pearson and Thug and Crazy Yeti Killer and Fat Girls, Spitfire, this is definitely a lethal team. No, I don't think any of them, though, I would put as like top 5 players for their position, though. So it could come down to, I think they're going to do pretty well, but I don't see them being anywhere above like a lower playoff spot if they even do make it in there. That's my opinion. Typhon, what do you think about this team?
You start with Crazy Eddie, a good friend of mine. Matt, props to him. Matt, shout out. He didn't get to play much last season. That really hurt me last season because he was a D/Ford for me when Lemons or D Mitch couldn't make it. He was, I don't know if some of you guys probably heard, he was in a very serious car accident during last season. So that he only got to play maybe a little bit less than half the games. But he's glad to come back for this next season. He's looking to kind of back up his the dirty player award from 2 seasons ago, the grimy player, whatever it was. He's looking to back that up again. Lay some hits, start some fights. Same old Yeti. But he can get the job done when it needs to. He's a good player in a pinch.
For sure. I see this team making in that 8th spot, 7th spot with the experience they have on all aspects of the ice. I think it's going to be a deadly team. Like Spirit said, not top 5 in each position, but you know what? Their chemistry beats skill every day of the week. So we'll see what happens with this team. Moving on to the next captain here, Blue Liner, and he has Met Skydiver, Gru Smiley, APOC, known as Soya Copa, McLeod, Kool-Aid Man, Hubs, and Killa Beats, who he rule won because of scheduling. And I'm pretty sure, who did he pick up again? Do you have that?
Mason. He traded Joker and Toker for Donster to Joker and Toker and picked up Mason.
Yeah, so he picked up Donster and traded him for Mason. That's a pretty good deal for Blue Liner there to get one of the top goalies in the AHL, in my opinion. But now they got a controversy here because Met Skydiver was his first pick for goalie there. And then so they've got Met Skydiver, they've got Mason, and they got Hubs, who was a starter on, I think, Gino's team, I do believe, or Half-Baked's team?
I think it was Gino's team. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know. To be
I
honest,
think
I think we might be seeing Mason play a little forward. Because I mean, I've been seeing him playing forward in some scouting rooms. It's just kind of funny, but he's not too bad at a forward. I mean, he can actually
he just
think
hits
pretty well.
people. He just hits people. He's like another liberated but forward.
Exactly. He's basically like me. But yeah, we might end up seeing there might be probably some trading off with goalies where Mason might play a couple net games in net and then might play a couple games as forward just to see how things roll.
Yeah, I definitely see Mason getting maybe his opportunity up front, like Kyle saying, but I don't know. I don't picture Mason as anything but a goalie. I find it weird, actually, a little bit that he's even being considered to play forward this season.
Well, he was actually debating if he was going to sign up as a goalie this season. He was not going to at first. He was going to sign up as a winger, and then a lot of people pretty much talked him into playing goalie. So that's the only reason why I signed up as a goalie again. So I mean, but he wants his chance to play forward to show people what he can do.
Yeah,
Especially Blue Liner has like 8 different goalies. I definitely see Mason doing something else other than goaling. I mean, Hobbs, Kool-Aid, man, you don't have to start Mason as a goalie in that team. Absolutely not. I can definitely see him. I've actually seen him play winger before, and he's pretty good. I don't think he's one of the top guys, but he moves the puck around pretty well, and he definitely has the potential to be there and start as a winger. So I definitely see Mason starting as a winger.
what do you think about their forwards? Actually, you got through there. You got APOC, you got McLeod, who's a beast. You got Kool-Aid. Like, yeah, forwards all over the place here, and a lot of not top five, but a lot of average good guys.
Well, I don't know 100%. I think APOC is one of the top centers. Surprisingly, a lot of people we don't no one really talks about him that much, and I actually had him on my list to be drafted at one point. Obviously, Chaos Hammer was above him. I didn't think I was going to get Chaos late in the end of the 4th, beginning of the 5th round, and I did. But if I hadn't picked up Chaos Samurai, it was either going to be Big Bad Bruins, who's on the next team we're going to talk about, or APOC Solokopa was going to be the next one. He's not the best face-off winner, but when it comes to playing on the ice, he moves the puck around like no one else. He can get it in the zone. He plays D really well, and I think he's an amazing center. That being said, I don't know what their final lineup is going to be on the wings, whether Mason's going to be there. Gru's also pretty good on wing. So I don't know how well he's going to work with everybody else, but I think he's by far and away, in terms of their forward line, I think he's the best player on the forward line by a lot. And I just don't know if he's going to end up alone by himself or whether he's going to have people who can actually help him and move the puck with him. I think a lot of Blue Liners' team, whether they're going to score and whether they're going to get the playoff spot, is going to come down to how well they end up with that, whether people are going to help APOC or whether he's going to be alone. I think it's going to be very important for them to work out.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I mean, you got Hobbs, Mason, and was it Mets?
Yeah, Met Skydiver.
Met Skydiver. Hobbs, I've seen him play. He's next to a decent to a solid goalie. I wouldn't put him in the top 5, but still a solid goalie. Met Skydiver, I haven't really seen him play, so I don't know much about him. I've understood he's a solid goalie as well, but then you have Mason, who's a top goalie. With 3 good, solid goalies, I mean, how are you going to play the lines? I mean, that's the only thing I see that might be a little troubling for Blue Line, trying to find that good mixture of players to see what person's going to play what. And that's probably with that many good top goalies, it's going to be it could be controversial at first, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Any more opinions on what Blue Liners got for this season?
I can see him, if he can get his line set up properly between the goalies, I can see him probably making 6, 7 seed in the playoffs.
I don't think they will, in my opinion. Unless APOC carries them there as the team is right now, I don't see them making it into playoffs, to be perfectly honest. I don't. I mean, there's something to be said about having a couple of good goalies on your team, and I mean, Smiley's pretty good on D and whatnot, but as it is, I don't see them making the playoffs, in my opinion. If they do, it'll be because APOC carries them there, and they're going to end up in like 7th or 8th seed or something. But in my opinion, I don't see them making it right now into the playoffs.
Very interesting, very interesting. Last but not least, CTC Ice. We got Tony Soprano, NHL Snipes 94, also known as Golden Crew, owned by Chumley, Gino Snipe, Synergy RS3, Big Bad Bruins, D.D. Smith, and Cat Stowe. Anywhere on these guys?
Strong team. Tony Soprano, Chum Lee, Gino, Bruins, B.D. Smith. Strong team.
Yeah, he has a strong team, but it depends on how he captains his team. He's playing center. Ice, you're a good guy and all, but you're not the strongest center. I can see that being the downfall. I mean, I'll give him like he probably wins maybe 40% of the faceoffs, and to be honest, that's not enough to even to do something. I mean, you need to be at least 50, if not higher, because especially when you're in the offensive zone taking a faceoff, you need to win that faceoff to get that puck moving for a quick goal every time. Or even in the defensive zone, I mean, you lose that faceoff, that could turn over for a good quick goal against you. So he's kind of lacking in the center spot. But I mean, he has Tony Soprano, he has a decent goalie. Who was it? B.D. Smith, and not Typhoon.
Yep.
We're not the same people, but I mean, he is a solid goalie. But overall, Chum Lee, amazing winger. He played on the same team as us last season. Was my starting line was me, Ice, and Chum Lee. Then Chum Lee got called up. So I mean, he has a solid winger. Chum Lee can play both left and right, but I think he prefers left more.
See,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
if I hadn't, if I'm surprised CTC Ice is going to play center, if that's true. If I was him, I would either be playing D or I would bench myself because I would definitely have Big Bad Bruins as a center. Big Bad Bruins along with Chaos Samurai, I think is easily 1 and 2 in terms of centers in the AHL. Big Bad Bruins is amazing. Not as good as faceoffs as Chaos is, but on the ice I think he's a little bit better. I think he moves the puck better. He goes back to pointing more than Chaos does a little bit. But he's also an amazing center. So I would have him as a center. I would have Chumley and Gino probably on my wings with Tony Soprano as one of the Ds and B.D. Smith as the goalie. And I'd have either stick someone else in there or D, or I'd be playing D. There's a lot of potential in this team. I think this team easily would be a midfield playoff contender. Just have a lot of good players, and I would not put CTC Ice as my center if I was captain of this team and I wasn't going to play. I would not have him in there like that. So if he does do that, if that's what he chooses to do, more power to him. I don't think that's the right choice, though, in my opinion.
Agree.
Definitely agree. He did a very good job for his first time. He's been waiting seasons after seasons to get this captain opportunity. He made the most of it. Now he's just got to make a smart choice. He's a good center,
Drafted
but
a lot of good players.
With the people that he's got, I don't think it's necessary that he plays maybe fellow spot that's the weakest, for example. But in my opinion, I think he shouldn't be playing on this team right now.
No. And to be honest, I mean, I think the only position he can play is center and left wing, and the rest of the positions he has maybe like because I know for last season when he was on my team, he only had like 5 games he was able to play with lefty, 5 games as right D, 0 games as goalie, and like 5 games as right wing. So I mean, he's not strong at any other position at all except maybe left wing and center. And center, he's not as strong. I mean, he's better as a left wing, but Chum Lee plays left wing. So I could see him maybe possibly moving Chum Lee over to the right wing and him playing left wing. And then, I mean, I can see that happening, but I mean, again, it's his team. See what he wants to do.
That's true.
I mean, if he wants to play center, more power to him. But when you got a better center, I would start the better center.
And Big Bad Bruins is absolutely amazing. Most any team in the AHL, he would be a starting center, and he would do a really great job of it. So it's definitely a mistake not to have him as a center starting.
So
Okay,
out of the position, where do you think he might land up at?
in the playoff standings, or
Yes.
I'm gonna say if he plays Big Bad Bruins, mid of the pack, but if he doesn't play himself, he's gonna squeak out of the playoffs. That's just my opinion.
Agree. If he doesn't put
I I,
Bruins,
I would I would
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. To be honest, if he puts Bruins in there and either benches himself or ends up on the other D if he's capable of that, or and starts the players that should be starting, I see him being midfield at the least, if not one of the top. I've played a lot of games with Gino recently, and Gino is an amazing winger. He gets it done. I'd easily put him up there with Haxby and Dispiggy and Toke and a lot of the other forwards I've seen play. He's really lethal. He knows what he's doing. But you got to have a good center to be able to take advantage of your wingers and Chumlee on the other side, for example. And if Big Bad Bruins is one of the best centers in the NHL, and he's not starting center for them, it's I don't know because I don't know how good CTC Ice is as a center. But Belial could be right. I think he might sweep himself right out of the playoffs entirely if Big Bad Bruins isn't starting. Belial could be completely correct about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. If CTC Ice, I'm sorry, but I see him, if he starts himself as center instead of Bruins, I see him being probably one of the last place teams with Brown. That's my opinion. But if he starts Bruin, I can see him because they have the good mixture. If he starts Bruin, he's able. They can do stuff. So I see him making at least maybe ninth, eighth seed probably.
Okay, so we're down all the teams. I got one more interesting subject that I was just thinking of. Maybe, what do you guys think a possible, and try not to be biased in your opinion, Spiri, and I won't be in mine, but who do you think will be the two teams left standing in the finals?
Blah, you only brought this up because you saw it in the chat box, you little piece of crap. I know you did.
Dude, I'm not even in the chat box.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people right now saying Upshaw and Spiritus right now, so I I can probably see that. Definitely Spiritus. I gotta say, you probably have the strongest team right now as of like players wise. Same with Upshaw. Upshaw, I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know who has the Upshaw. I forgot who he has at forward, but they're pretty beast. That's all I know.
Probably a bunch of dusters. You know what? They're probably gonna be at the bottom anyway.
If I took myself out of the equation, just to just to be non-objective here and be totally fair, it's a pretty close call. I think there's a couple teams that really stand out as being very strong out of the gate and down on paper. I think Halfbake's team has the potential. I think Jets Killer's team is really strong this season. I think Truly's team is really strong this season. Upshaw's team is definitely strong. And probably right up with that, I would have to throw Cracker Joe and CTC Ice, depending on his starting lineup. Out of those couple of teams, I would probably say CTC Ice, depending on his lineup, if he's not in there, and most likely Upshaw or Jets Killer, I would actually have to say, because I can't. Darkstorm, I think, is really, really, really goddamn strong, and I think that's going to be a big thing for them. If CTC Ice doesn't have the starting lineup he should have, I would actually have to throw it down and probably say it would be Upshaw and Jets. Again, that's not including myself, just to be fair, but those would be my predictions based on how the season goes. Depending on those teams, I would have to say it would be between those guys.
I'll definitely have to agree with some of those choices. I definitely see Half-Baked with Gregorian Masters maybe bringing a spark to that team. I also see Truly for Canadian. I didn't realize how strong of a team they had with Liberated on D. They got Volorn. They got everybody on that team. They got goaltending, they got forwards, and they got defense. Well-rounded draft by Truly for Canadian. It's a great pick, and you got Half Baked. So I think my prediction early on is going to be Truly versus Half Baked in the finals. Okay, so basically all predictions, everything. I think we covered everything. If we missed anything, you never know. Leave in the chat for the next episode. But as of now, I think. What do you think, Spirit Typhoon? I think we covered a lot. I think it's about time to head her out for the night.
Oh yeah.
Well, just to announce some dates, I think the season starts this upcoming Wednesday, I believe, which is the 15th. No, not the 15th. Jesus Christ, I'm dumb. It's the what day is that? Today is Thursday.
I believe
so
it's
would
starting
be
next week. So I believe it's
29th?
like I believe it's starting next week. So
27th. It would be the 27th.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. I'm terrible at math. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it'd be the 27th of next
Fail.
week. I'm terrible at math, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
And how the hell
there's
did you make
something
it
in
to the
between, I
draft?
think. Who knows? Definitely not. Toom didn't give me any help. A lot of these tries to say, "Oh, I did this, I did not." Toom, I did all of it myself. It's terrible. No one wanted to help me. But I think we're also doing something new this season based on the scheduling. That'll come later though. But there's going to be a couple cool things that are being worked out to try and help protect AHL teams from call-ups and whatnot, and help out scheduling. And but the schedule should be out pretty soon, and the season starts next Wednesday. And that's just stuff to throw out there.
All right, Shadows boys. You guys got any shout-outs?
I got a shout out to I got to remember this team. It's like Fecal Forny Moose Fornicators or something. I don't even know what the team name is up. Oh, that's our team name. It's like the Fecal Moose Fornicators or something like that. It's something crazy. Upshaw thought of it. But shout out to all the teammates there. We're going to have a good season this year, boys.
Spirit?
I don't like giving shout outs to people.
You party pooper.
You got to talk to themselves. You got to stick up for yourself. Speak for yourself on the ice, dude. I don't.
I gotta give a shout out to my boy Mason Yambag. I mean, if it wasn't for Yambag, none of this would be possible. We got we got the fantasy draft coming up, and that's going to be fun to watch. And I hope everyone has a good season.
Pretty sure I'm a part of that fantasy draft too.
Oh yes, you are. So am I.
Oh,
How about you, Spirit?
That was the other thing to talk about. I don't know. That was another thing I want to throw out there was the fantasy draft that's going to be coming up. It's going to be pretty exciting for a lot of people. And,
I think isn't this the first one?
This is the first one. I might not. I don't know if I'm going to be part of the official one, but I might throw together one of them with a couple of people on my team and see how we do. Do our own fantasy league. And I'd like to try and work out a nice format for everyone to use that we can share, and there could be a whole bunch of different leagues going on, and that would be pretty fun.
As soon as we can figure out a date when everyone's available, we'll probably try to get it this weekend, but there will be a live fantasy draft coming up for it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I hope it works out. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Another thing, everyone knows Holly's back. So ESPN highlights, get your videos in. If everyone does their parts, at least 1 or 2 people from each team gets at least 3-4 highlights from their games from each game. I mean, that's enough. That is more than enough highlights to fill a whole entire segment. So get your highlights in. We got the stuff going where he's back, and let's do this.
Yeah, let's go, boys. Okay, that's about it, Moose family. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of the live video show. We will see you probably in the next week or so with MHL or AHL. Shout out to Speary, shout out to Typhoon, shout out to Moose Media, and we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.
Like to see homos naked.